Dan Dakich has internal information that would lead you to believe that there is a massive issue internally that the Indiana Fever front office, coaches, and maybe even teammates have with Caitlin Clark. And his video of a couple days ago kind of spills the beans. He did a video called Jason Whitlock Exposed by Dan Dakich over his Caitlin Clark criticism. I'm going to go over this video. I've seen a small clip of it. I want to look at it more in depth and we'll have our commentary on it. But this is a serious situation going on right now in Indiana. And at a certain point, I don't know, man. Caitlin Clark needs to make a decision because they don't seem to care too much about her, bro. But let's take a look at this video right now. I'm skipping the intro. Let's just jump in on the video. This is Indiana Fever Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. I am your host, Rudy Rodriguez. Show mod. Hit that like button, hype button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell, leave your comments. Hyping the video is so important in the algorithm, man. Seem to be stuck at this plateau of between 3,000 and 7,000 views on videos, man. We should be getting so many more. So whatever you can do, check your settings to see that you're getting notified of the videos. Because it's really, really odd that my subscriber rate keeps going up, but yet the viewership isn't following in suit. So y'all do me that favor, check your settings, make sure that the bell is rung so that you see when the new video pops up, man. Do appreciate y'all on that. Let's take a look at the video and see what Dan Dakich had to say.
Check out what we're talking about. This is America's favorite diva, Caitlin Clark, getting talked to harshly by her coach, and all she does is bitch, whine, and moan and come back. Now, Caitlin Clark defenders, I was fouled. I wasn't fouled. She's being demonstrative, and frankly, this is just another example of her being a jackass. And we're going to talk about people criticizing me for this take, but I understand little Caitlin has the children of the corn wrapped up, and I understand a bunch of middle-aged guys can't stand me, so they love her. But you can all suck it. That's exactly right. You can all suck it. And everybody's making excuses. Everybody's saying, oh, my God, it's so in-depth. It's so hard. Poor Caitlin. She's in such a no, just don't act like a dick. When you watch her, you get really tired of it. And people say, well, Jordan did that. She ain't Jordan. And Jordan didn't do dribbling down the court, bitching literally on every single call, bitching at her coaches, bitching at everybody. It got in depth. And we had to bring in the big guns. We had to bring.
All right, I got to stop real quick. He ain't lying. I know what you think you want me to say. I have voiced this about Caitlin Clark for a year and a half. She incessantly bitches and complains. You cannot deny it. She incessantly bitches and complains. She bitches and complains on virtually every foul call, every non-call, literally every time she goes up the court, she is complaining about something. And I don't really care about her coaches. I'm talking specifically about officials. She complains until the cows come home. She does. And no, she is not Jordan. And no, I grew up watching Michael Jordan, and Michael Jordan did not complain every time he went down the floor. And I can assure you, Michael Jordan would get body slammed onto the ground, and Caitlin Clark is not receiving any kind of physicality like what Michael Jordan went through. I know she gets fouled. I have said it. But she also complains when she doesn't get fouled. She complains a lot. And I told y'all it was a bad look. And now people who were previously supporters of hers are turning on her because she comes across like a brat. That's how she comes across. And you can deny it if you want to, but it is the truth. That is how she comes across. If you saw Caitlin Clark for the first time playing basketball, you did not know her name. You knew nothing about her, and you turned on the TV and you watched Caitlin Clark play basketball, not knowing anything about her, and you watched her play, you would leave that game saying, I can't stand her because all she does is complain. And that is the first impression that many people are getting now who are new to the sport, and that's what they see. The national narrative is it has been what it's been, but it's now even shifting for the people that like her to critique her. I have critiqued this for quite some time. Now, does it change my opinion of her as a player? Absolutely not. Does it change my opinion of what's going on in Indiana? No. Does it change my opinion of how she's being treated by her coaching staff? No. Because a lot of the things that she's responding to with her coaches are started by her coaches.
In the lesbians, although I don't think Sue Bird's a lesbian. We had to bring in Reggie Miller's sister, Cheryl, and Sue Bird for an in-depth, nuanced discussion. Everything's nuanced. No, it's not. Quit acting like a dick, Caitlin Clark, and people wouldn't have to talk about you being a dick, and people wouldn't have to make excuses for you being a dick.
Right now, it's frustration, and unfortunately, it's boiling over, and it's being seen. It's one thing to have it behind closed doors, but when it spills over and when the coach has to basically say, hey, you know what, Caitlin, enough is enough. This is too disruptive. In and out, take a seat. What do you think?
I agree. I think it's frustration. I'm not like the best lip reader, but I feel like Stephanie White did say defense a couple times. And Caitlin Clark was in foul trouble this game. And obviously we know how things are being called. So I think it is a lot of frustration, but it's also like not that crazy. This isn't the first time we've seen this. It doesn't have some deeper meaning to it. I've had moments like that with coaches. I think it speaks to relationships, player-coach relationships. Like shout out Brian Agler. You could say anything to that man and you could keep it moving. And then I had other coaches where maybe you couldn't, and you have to learn each other in that way.
But you knew the line. But you knew the line. When it becomes disruptive, and then when you and that's when even Kelsey Mitchell kind of chimed in and said, like, you need to go stand over here and let us just regain the calm in our huddle. When it becomes that disruptive to the entire team, somebody has to step in.
That was considered by Jamel Hill to be great, deep, nuanced analysis.
First of all, two people being competitive, two people that really want to win. And, I think a lot of those things happen all the time. And I know there's a camera on me and that's how it's going to be. But there's a lot of people out there in the media or on TV that they think they know a lot of things and they're just blatantly wrong about a lot of things. And I ride for Steph. I ride for these girls. Steph has my back more than anybody. So, nobody in that locker room, in our locker room, or Steph or our coaching staff thought twice about it. It's just another example of what everybody, all of you, want to blow up and make something that is just lost and not in reality.
Bullshit. I mean, look, that's one thing to say when you don't see it publicly. Yeah, total horse shit. Somebody told her what to say. Somebody gave her, I ride with her. She has my back. She can't stand you, and rightfully so. Oh, I guarantee you. I mean, she knows that you got rid of Christy Sides, who was the coach of the year in the WNBA. She knows that you're a diva. Look, nobody is smarter in women's basketball than Steph White. I mean, nobody. Zero, zip, nada. And she knows that you are an absolute.
I don't agree with that. No one's smarter in women's basketball than Stephanie White. Get the fuck out of here. Have you been paying attention? So you think it makes sense to leave your pick and roll offense and move into some motion hub offense around Aaliyah Boston or Maisha Hines-Allen or whatever big you have on the floor and have everyone else shoot the ball more than your best player? You really believe that, Dan Dakich? You can't be serious. You cannot be serious. She's such a great coach. She's so smart that she can't win a title in the WNBA. Tell me why that is, Dan Dakich. Why couldn't she win in Connecticut? Why has Becky Hammon won over and over and over again in Vegas? Why? Why can't she find a way to make it work with the most electrifying women's basketball player we got in the sport right now? Why can't she figure out a way to call a defense that protects her best player from being stuck in one-on-one ISO situations? Why are you running switches every single time? I mean, Sophie Cunningham told you that this team has only one defensive scheme. So why are all these things happening if she's so goddamn smart? I'm not saying she's a bad coach. She ain't the right coach for Caitlin Clark, in my opinion. But I'm not saying she's a bad coach. But to say she's the smartest coach in women's basketball, get out of here, bro.
Absolute menace. And you don't win enough. That's the bigger issue. I mean, you're on a 500 team now. Are the Fever tough enough to work through this? They haven't been. They had their best run without Caitlin Clark. They did.
Shut the fuck up. No, they didn't. You're an idiot now. See, now I can agree with certain things. That's just stupid. You just came out with all this information, right? Okay, let's talk about that. They were 8-5 last year with Caitlin Clark. They were 16-15 without her last year. So that's mathematically incorrect. Their best run was without Caitlin. She's been in the league for 2 years, you fucking moron. She's been in the league for 2 years. What are you talking about? Her rookie season, she took them to the playoffs. A franchise that had not been to the playoffs in 8 seasons. Fuck you talking about? She got hurt last year. And you know what they did? You know what they did during the season? They completely revamped the offense. They revamped the entire the roster. The roster they started the season out with Caitlin Clark. By the end of the year, it was a completely unrecognizable roster. Odyssey Sims was starting. She was their best player. She was their best player versus Vegas. Not Kelsey Mitchell. Odyssey Sims. You had players on that roster that were not on the roster when the season started. So what are you talking about, bro? You're wrong. You're flat fucking wrong. Sophie Cunningham wasn't even on the court in the playoffs. Go look at who the roster was back then. Go look. You're wrong. So you're making a comparison. Oh, she wasn't there. No, she wasn't there. But when she played, they had a better record than when she didn't. Out of your fucking mind, bro.
So, again, what a great country when this is what we're discussing. A woman who's never won nothing, playing in a league of angry African-American lesbians, for a coach that's trying to actually coach her, and she won't accept it, but we're all supposed to genuflect.
Did you say a woman who's never won nothing? Shut the fuck up. Getting to the Final Four, getting to the national championship with a fucking bum-ass Iowa team back-to-back seasons, and beating a 38-0 fucking South Carolina, and beating a fucking UConn squad with 9 McDonald's All-Americans, and the holier-than-thou Paige Beckers and Sarah Strong? Get out of here, bro. Never won nothing? You could never win on a team that had that type of talent, Dan Dakich. Stop it. They had no talent, and she carried them there. Get out of here. She's never won it. She's been in the league for a year and a half. This is fucking stupid. You sound like a fucking clown, bro. Now you sound clownish. Dumb motherfucker.
Look, not me. No, not I. All right, here's Whitlock. He had some things to say about my position on Caitlin Clark. Let's hear from Whitlock.
Dan Dakich has been tweeting things anti-Caitlin Clark. And it's really frustrated me. It's because Dan lives in the Indianapolis area. He's Indiana guy, played basketball for Bobby Knight, former college basketball coach. I like Dan Dakich. I get it. That Caitlin Clark throws tantrums and she's a diva. I get it. But we can work through that. We can get her in a better place as it relates.
Stop. Please stop.
Actually, yeah. Let's stop right here. Dan Dakich, your career head coaching record, 159 and 144. You were a head coach at Bowling Green for 10 years. You won 1 MAC championship, so you've never won shit. You never won nothing. You didn't win a damn thing. You won less than Caitlin Clark. You were the interim head coach for the Indiana Hoosiers in 2008, and your record was 3-4. Wow. At Bowling Green, you had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 losing seasons. You're a loser of a coach. You're a loser of a coach. You don't get to say that people didn't win. You didn't win shit. That girl won at a higher level than you've ever won in your life. Caitlin Clark's won at a higher level than you've ever won in your life. Fuck you talking about? You weren't part of an Indiana. You weren't on the '87 Indiana team. That was the team that beat UNLV and Syracuse. So you didn't win a national championship at Indiana, from what I'm seeing here. You were the team captain under Bob Knight. Oh, you were an assistant coach on the team that won a national championship, but you weren't the head coach. Let's continue. Let's jump back in.
We're not working through anything. Now, this is where we can work through. This is all show by Whitlock. I like Whitlock. I do. I retweet him often. But the big fella here is doing, I don't know, theater. Because there is nothing that Whitlock, myself, or anybody is going to do as we to get Caitlin Clark anywhere. I watched Caitlin Clark on the red carpet. She has a whole crew around her. I mean, she's got bodyguard. There's nothing that anybody's going to say. And it isn't my responsibility to get her through anything. Let me look at the camera very clearly. I don't give a rat's ass about the Fever unless they make a run in the playoffs and my daughter's in town and I'll take her, my wife, my stepdaughter to the game. We aren't getting her. This is pure theater by Whitlock. We're not getting anybody through anything. Go ahead. What are we doing? What are we doing here?
You got to see the overall big picture. And I know Dan, I don't know how old Dan's kids are, but again, he's a former college coach. He played for Bobby Knight. I get why Caitlin Clark's theatrics and antics on the court bother Dan, but we got to see the big picture.
Actually, you know what? Now that Whitlock brings that up, he should love the theatrics of Caitlin Clark, because the biggest temper tantrum having motherfucking coach in the history of my lifetime was Bob Knight. Bobby Knight was the biggest temper tantrum throwing mother freaker on the face of the earth as a head coach. I've never seen larger temper tantrums by anybody worse than Bobby Knight, picking up chairs and throwing them across the court and all the nonsense that guy did. Are you kidding? He should love Caitlin Clark's theatrics, in fact, because he coached under the biggest diva freaking head coach in the history of men's college basketball. Bob Knight was the biggest diva coach in basketball history, always having a temper tantrum meltdown, complaining about everything. And you have a problem with Caitlin Clark? He's just like your mentor. She's just like your mentor, and he is way worse, or was.
Picture here. This is about whether young heterosexual women are going to be allowed to compete in basketball without all of this pressure to transition to an alternative lifestyle. This is Dakich. Clark has been in Indy 3 years.
Now you're talking about two different things. Now you're talking about how she acts as a diva, and now you're talking about the gay lesbian thing. Now, I get it. You want to see the big picture. Let me explain to you the big picture. The big picture is her ending up as the best player ever, as people tell me she's supposed to be. That's the big picture. And her team winning a championship. She's not going to change her sexuality, and the angry African lesbians aren't going to change their opinion and their abuse. So, having said that, you're talking about two very different things. Clark a diva, angry African American lesbians, abusing, if that's the word you want to use. Go ahead.
I want to jump on that post he has there, that tweet. Clark has been in the Indy for 3 years. Year one, Christy Sides was not good enough to coach. She got fired. Yeah, she wasn't good enough. For the first 2/3 of the season, she tried to lock Caitlin Clark down and not allow Caitlin Clark to play basketball. Can you imagine if Michael Jordan's first head coach says, "No, you can't shoot the ball," and they didn't pass the ball to Jordan, and they didn't get Jordan the ball? A guy who averaged 28 a game as a rookie. Remember, he didn't average 28 in college because Dean Smith was able to was the only person who could ever cover Michael Jordan. Only person ever. Now Stephanie White's not good enough. Yeah, she's not good enough now because she's changing an offense away from her best player. That's literally the definition of doing stupid shit. I got the most electrifying player in the game, the best playmaker in the game, and I take the ball from her so that she can't do what she does best, which is playmake for other players. I'm going to change the offense and not allow her to run the pick and roll with, Aaliyah Boston and playmake for Aaliyah Boston. Instead, let me have Aaliyah Boston stand 26 feet from the basket and shoot threes. That's the brilliant Stephanie White idea. Let's have Aaliyah Boston shoot more threes and grab less rebounds and get less easier baskets. That is what she is doing. Ain't the coach's fault. It's the freaking entitled diva. Bro, you're a former coach. Let me ask you this, Dan Dakich. If you were her coach, would you have her off the ball, bro? No, you wouldn't. You wouldn't.
This is a great tweet by me.
Year one, Christy Sides was not a good enough coach. Fired. Now Steph White, not good enough, soon fired. Only time the Fever have been any good is with Clark out. Ain't the coach's fault. Dan, think this through, and I want the audience to think it through. Because they have a better record over the last 2 years with Clark out of the lineup. And they advanced in the playoffs last year with Clark out of the lineup. They won the NBA.
That's actually statistically not true. They have a better record with Clark in the lineup, not out of the lineup. Statistically not true.
Cup or the WNBA Cup with Clark out of the alignment. You know who that indicts? If they are better
can't be Clark
without Caitlin Clark.
Can't be Clark.
That's
come on, baby.
Why you fire Stephanie White and the entire organization.
Oh.
And actually, since again, Whitlock did not fact check this, they are 8-5 last year with Caitlin Clark on the court. And they were 16-15 with her off the court. I do not care about the playoff results, for which, if you want to be technical about it, they were 4-4 in the playoffs. But again, 8-5. Let's do the simple mathematics of what 8 divided by 13 is. It's, I believe, 62.5. 8 divided by 30. I'm sorry, 61.5. So there's 61.5 winning percentage with Caitlin Clark. And without Caitlin Clark, they had a 51.6 winning percentage. So you tell me again, they were not better without Caitlin Clark. They were worse. They were worse. These are facts. So you're wrong.
That is why.
Hold on. The dumbest human beings, I've always said it, when it comes to actual sports are guys like Jason Whitlock and sports writers, because they don't know jack shit. It indicts one person and one person only, and that is Caitlin Clark. Look, Whitlock's never been in a locker room for real. He says he was some kind of football. No, he's never been in a locker room for real. Maybe to sneak a peek, maybe to get an autograph, maybe to ask a question. I don't know.
That's a clown statement. He actually played college football at Ball State. Played college football at Ball State. A sneak a peek. See, then you want to get disrespectful to people. I think both of y'all make stupid comments. You did what? You played at Indiana? Okay, you didn't win. You coached? You didn't win as a coach either, as a head coach. Nobody cares what you did as an assistant coach. You didn't win as a head coach. So you've been a loser your entire life, according to your own barometer. You didn't? Did you make the NBA? I don't see any. I don't see any professional, experience there. No, you went straight to being a coach, and now you're a radio personality. So you're a reporter. You're a journalist, or you think you are. Okay.
But the truth of the matter is, it is a massive indictment how the other players around Clark play, are comfortable, are more competitive. When her ass isn't in there taking bad shots.
Okay, now you're a fucking moron. Because statistically, they're all better when she plays. Statistically, all of her teammates produce at a higher level when she fucking plays. I'm going to lose it right now. Lexi Hall was a 22% three-point shooter until Caitlin Clark showed up. Aaliyah Boston, are you kidding? Aaliyah Boston's numbers are the same right now as they were as a rookie. She plays better when Caitlin Clark is getting her easy buckets. Kelsey Mitchell shot her highest field goal percentage of her career in Caitlin Clark's rookie season. You want facts? You want proof? Kelsey Mitchell, she shot 34.6% as a rookie. 38.7, 44.8, 43.1, 43.8, 44.1. Year one with Caitlin Clark, she shoots 46.8% from the field. She has her best statistical season with Caitlin Clark on the floor. Her rookie year. You're wrong. You're wrong. Fuck are we talking about, man? Kelsey Mitchell from 2-point range has in Caitlin Clark's rookie year, 52.3%. You know why? You know why, Dan? Because she got layups from Caitlin Clark. Once she figured out how to catch the ball, because she couldn't catch the ball in the first half of the year from Caitlin Clark. Every player who is playing with Caitlin Clark from the offensive perspective is better when Caitlin Clark is on the floor. They're statistically better everywhere. Lexi Hull was a 22% three-point shooter. And guess what happens? Caitlin Clark shows up, and Lexi Hull in her 2024 year shoots 47.1% from three. Do you think that's an accident? Do you think that's an accident? Lexi Hall, rookie, 18.6. Second year, 21.7. So 22% was generous. She shot 20% from three. And in Caitlin Clark's first year, she shoots 47.1. Last year, before Caitlin Clark got hurt, Lexi Hall was shooting 50% from three. You know what she finished shooting from three last year? 36.7, because she played the second half of the season, or more than the second half of the season, without Caitlin Clark. So all the wide open shots that she was getting with Caitlin Clark, she stopped getting. And so her shooting percentage went down. This year, she's shooting 39.1, so it's coming back up. Interesting. Interesting that wherever Lexi Hall plays, whether it's in the WNBA or in Unrivaled, when Caitlin Clark is not on the court with her, she shoots 22% from three-point range. She shoots 22% from three-point range. That's what she shot in Unrivaled. So, sir, you're wrong. You're wrong. You're flat freaking wrong. You're wrong in every way. You do not know what you are talking about. Get some fucking data.
being a pain in the ass, not guarding anybody. It isn't an indictment, and I'll let him finish here, of everybody else. It's an indictment of Clark, period. And literally every human being that's ever played and ever coached at any kind of level understands this.
And you mentioned not defending. Have you ever watched Kelsey Mitchell defend the ball? Kelsey Mitchell actually statistically has a worse net defensive rating than Caitlin Clark. She has the worst one, actually, net. It's -14. Caitlin Clark's is -2. Another stat that you ignored. Because it's so easy to say that Caitlin Clark doesn't defend. And I agree, she doesn't defend that well at all. But Kelsey Mitchell can't defend a parked car. And Lexi Hall can't guard on ball. And Aaliyah Boston can't guard on ball. And I mean, my God, I've been watching a lot of Washington Mystics basketball. Caitlin Clark is the next coming of freaking Draymond Green defensively and Kawhi Leonard compared to Georgia Amore with the Washington Mystics, who can't guard anybody. I mean, come on. Aaliyah Boston can't guard. They don't have a damn power forward. This is a bad defensive team, and the damn coach can't figure out a defensive scheme? Come on, bro. Stupid.
Continue, my friend.
If the Chicago Bulls were better without Michael Jordan, then Phil Jackson and Jerry Krause and the entire Jerry Reinsdorf, they all need to be run out.
He's making things up, and I get it. You want to use me because when I speak on Caitlin Clark, I mean, it blows up, and this blew up for Whitlock. I get it. You want to use me. I do. I get it. I promise you I do. I mean, little media guys in Indianapolis have been using me for years. I get it. But now we're going back 40 years. 40 years. See, the idea that if the Bulls were better without Michael Jordan, that again would tell me that Jerry Krause, it would tell me clearly that Phil Jackson has a better team around Michael Jordan, and they should be kept. They have a good team, really good team around Michael Jordan. They're doing a hell of a job, Phil Jackson and Jerry Krause. It tells me that the star player is holding the team back. That's what it tells me. Now, we can go back 40 years. All right, let's go. Now we're going to Larry Bird. But if the star player is out and you're playing the same teams and you're better without the star player, that means your team is good enough. That means your coach is good enough. That means your general manager, the guy that bought the groceries, as Parcells says, is good enough.
This is stupid because everyone knows that when you have an elite player who comes in and changes the mentality of players around them and gets them to believe, the first thing in sports, and this guy should know this, which makes it so sad, the first thing in sports is belief. If you don't believe that you can win, you're not going to win. It doesn't matter how good you might be. No one has sat here and ever said Kelsey Mitchell couldn't play basketball. We all know Kelsey Mitchell can play basketball. Kelsey Mitchell can put the ball in the hole. You want to know what Kelsey Mitchell can't do? She can't make anybody around her better because she's not that type of player. She's the person that finishes the bucket. She's not the one that starts the offense. She's not the one that puts people in the proper positions. She's not the one that gets people open. She's the one that dribbles the air out the goddamn ball to shoot the ball herself. Caitlin Clark made Kelsey Mitchell better. Caitlin Clark made Kelsey Mitchell believe that they could win. So you know what happened in rookie year, Caitlin Clark, a team that went to the playoffs for Indiana for the first time in 8 seasons when Kelsey Mitchell had been there for 7 before and had never won more than 13 games? What happened? She changed the mindset of the team, of the players on that team. Winning in fucking South Carolina, Leah Boston, she's a big. She doesn't create the offense. She's the beneficiary of easy buckets around the basket because she's bigger than everybody else in college and playing next to a 6'7" tree like Camila Cardoso and playing under a great coach in Don Staley. But Aaliyah Boston as an individual ain't carrying anybody to no championships. You crazy? Because when she got there, they still sucked. They were 13-27. Caitlin Clark walked in the door. They're 20-20. Making it more impressive, they were 2-10 to start the year after that ridiculous opening season schedule. So after being 2-10, they went 18-10 the rest of the way. They went 18-10 the rest of the way. Kelsey Mitchell never looked better as a basketball player than she did that last 15 games with Caitlin Clark in rookie season. And you know what ends up happening now? Now you've created a belief in people to where they believe they can win. So yeah, the year after, they're 8-5 with Caitlin Clark. But they also now believe that they can win. They believe in themselves. And yes, it carries over to winning some games. Great. And you know what they did? They changed their roster. They added multiple players that weren't on the team when the season started. This was a team in the offseason that signed DeWanna Bonner, who was a cancer, signed Natasha Howard, who a lot of people don't like, who don't think fits, even though I think she's better than fucking Aaliyah Boston, and would run the pick and roll at a much higher level, as we're watching right now happen in Minnesota with her and Olivia Miles. And they signed Sydney Colson, who was a joke of a backup third-string level point guard. That's what they did. They drafted Bree Hall as what seemed like a Lexi Hall replacement, only to cut her in 5 days. That's what they did last year. They drafted Michaela Timpson to basically bench her for most of the season. That's what they did last year. But when Caitlin Clark left, magically, Timpson starts playing more. They get new backup. They get new guards. They get new players all over the place. They completely changed their system. And they were good enough. They weren't better without her. They were good enough. But they were good enough because of a mentality that she brought to that team the year before and put in those players that they could win. That shit matters. That shit fucking matters. And acting as if it doesn't is disingenuous as shit. Because the Chicago Bulls, the year after Jordan retired, they sure as shit won 55 games. But you know what also happened? They sure as shit lost when the fucking money was on the line. That's what happened. They lost when it mattered because they didn't have Michael Jordan. And what happened when he came back? Oh, I don't mean the year after we played 7 teams. I'm talking about the freaking year after that. They won the NBA championship again with 72-10, and then they won 3 straight championships again. But you're going to sit here and try to tell us that the Bulls were better without Michael Jordan too? Are you going to tell me that? No. And the Fever is not better without Caitlin Clark. Stop it.
It means because people don't understand this, have never played, never coached, have never been around a team on a daily basis. It means that in all areas, the star player is dragging them down. Now, understand, in basketball, you have shoot-arounds. You go back to the hotel. You have meals. You travel. It's long, even though this is only 42 games. It isn't the on the court that drags it down, Jason. It's the off the court. It's the pain in the ass. It's the everyday being like, what the is this idiot going to do today? Now, they don't say that publicly because you can't criticize Caitlin Clark if you're on the team, but that's what it's become.
Dakich, can you imagine every day being called a racist? Can you imagine every day being a player who has to somehow defend, speak against the fan base that actually made her a multimillionaire? Are you stupid? Like, that's literally what has been created by national media monkey fucks like you. But not you in the past, but now you're becoming one. But that's what's been created, is a bunch of national media racist, race-baiting motherfuckers like Renee Montgomery, who's in the largest conflict of interest as a part owner of a team while doing commentary on the damn league, while ripping Caitlin Clark, while having an owner of the Washington Mystics say that the whole league should be on the cover of Time magazine over Caitlin Clark. Get the fuck out of here. This girl has had to do nothing but have to defend people or speak on shit she shouldn't have to speak on, where nobody else is required to do it. Nobody. She's there to be a basketball player, not to be a civil rights activist. Get out of here. You haven't walked one step in that girl's shoes, bro.
Last year, you see Caitlin Clark when she was injured, all with her girls, Lexi Hall and Sophie Cunningham. You don't see that anymore, do you? I don't just make shit up.
You know what she did last year when she should have been sitting her ass at home rehabbing her injuries? She went to every goddamn road game to sign autographs for fucking spoiled brat fucking fans who didn't deserve her fucking time. You don't ever see NBA players traveling on road games when they're injured. They're at home rehabbing. That's where she should have been, rehabbing. But she was out with the team because they needed her, because they were lying about her status on a day-to-day basis. They wanted people to keep coming to games. They wanted people to keep watching games. They wanted people to keep buying tickets and buying merch. She's the economy of the league. And instead of taking care of herself physically at home, rehabbing, she went out on the road and traveled for everybody else. And what do you mean she's not with Lexi Hall? She sits side by side to Lexi Hall all the goddamn time.
Jason, I don't. I tell you exactly, because I know what's going on the inside. You know what's going on from being a little reporter that goes in there and tries to get in there and do whatever little reporter guys do, or big reporter guys do in your case. But anyway, continue.
Did this fool really pull a Stephen A. Smith and call the guy fat? Like, you're pathetic, bro. Like, we all know he's fat. You're pathetic, and you're sitting here saying little reporter guys know from the inside. Oh, because you have a source, Lynn Dunn, who's basically leaking everything to you. Why don't they just trade her? If they hate her so much, fucking trade her. Trade her to the New York Liberty, or she'll become even a bigger star in a real market where people are held to be, where there's like, or accountability exists.
You fire everybody. If the Lakers were better without Magic Johnson, you fire everybody because you're running the wrong system. If you've built a system that prefers for Caitlin Clark to be out of the lineup or works better with Caitlin Clark out of the lineup, you built the wrong system.
That is incredibly ignorant. That just showed he doesn't know jack shit about actual basketball. The Fever system, it's always three things with media guys: system, adjustments, substitution patterns. A guy like Whitlock and the rest of the report, and I like Whitlock. I really do. I don't know him, I never met him, never talked to him, but I like him. I like what he does. But he showed exactly what I've always said about reporters. They don't know, so there's three words they use. The system. He wouldn't know their system from his ass. Adjustments. They don't make the right adjustments. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Okay. Substitution patterns. Oh, man. It's beautiful. No, the whole system is set up for Caitlin Clark, but that doesn't mean that others don't play as well.
No, it's not set up for Caitlin Clark because the offense last year was pick and roll. The offense was the pick and roll. And Dan Dakich, because you were a coach, that makes you the fucking expert. Because you coached in college. I coached in AAU 17U. Does that make me more of an expert than you? Does that make you more of an expert than me? No, we have eyes. The offensive system is not built around Caitlin Clark. You're on crack. Because we can watch it and see it's not built around her. I'm not even talking. Yeah, substitution patterns where you pull out your best player 3.5 minutes into the game. Brilliant. Brilliant. Did you ever take out Steve Alford 3.5 minutes into a basketball game? Calbert Chaney, did you ever pull him out 3.5 minutes into a basketball game? I highly doubt it.
We're better with Michael Jackson as a backup dancer than a singer.
There you go.
Joe Jackson needs to be fired as the manager of the Jackson 5.
Yeah, that's right.
Caitlin Clark is Michael Jackson. She's the one that moonwalks and draws the crowd. So you know what you do? You write songs that fit Caitlin Clark, not Jermaine.
So hold on. So you think Whitlock does that Stephanie White isn't setting the entire offensive system up, which she 1,000% has. But it doesn't mean others don't play. It doesn't mean others can't thrive. It doesn't mean others can't fill a role. I mean, damn, Stephanie White should be given an extension because her system is so good that when people actually buy into it, don't take bad shots, don't act like divas, the team is really good. It is really good. Without, you mentioned it, they win things, they do all this without her. The system's great. The star is a pain in the ass. And they haven't won enough with the star. He mentions Michael Jordan. He mentions Bird. He mentions Magic. He mentions the Jackson 5. All those won at incredible levels with those guys. The Fever haven't won shit.
And they didn't win shit before she got there, you fucking buffoon. They won 14 games like once over 7 years before she showed up. They haven't won shit. Them making the playoffs was more than they'd done since I was in my 30s. And you say that the system's built around her while Kelsey Mitchell takes the most shots on the team? It's built around her while Kelsey Mitchell plays the most minutes on the team? Give me a break. They're running a different offense. Give me a break. And it's not built around her because they got another player taking the ball off the floor 70% of the game. She's the point guard. Wow, this guy is fucking dumb.
Nothing, zero, zip, not one thing with Caitlin Clark. A little bit different. Not a system. The system is great. Like, I don't get this shit off of a bathroom wall and take a piss and say, you know what? Caitlin Clark's a diva. I talk to people inside the organization. I got people everywhere. I do. I mean, you can make fun of me, whatever, but I do. And what I'm telling you is 1,000% true. Danny, you called her a complete pain in the ass diva. I did, because she is. And that's not me talking. That's a direct quote from people in the Fever. We really need you to rally around Caitlin. Now join the flock trying to bury her. I ain't trying to bury her. I ain't joining no flock. She needs to grow up, but she needs to be properly supported throughout that. Hey, man, my support don't matter worth a shit. This is all theater by Jason. Congrats.
All right, I'm done. I'm done with this guy. Listen. Yeah, you got your sources, because your sources are obviously Lynn Dunn and other people high up who clearly dislike Caitlin Clark. They should trade her. Like this has come to the point where Caitlin Clark has to jump on a wall and say, "Look, this game ain't enough already. Pack my shit, trade me somewhere. You don't want me here. Get me the fuck out of here. If I'm a fucking diva and you're telling people like Dan Dakich that I'm a fucking diva, well, fuck you too, because your franchise wasn't shit before I got here. And when I leave, it won't be shit either. It won't be shit either. So I'll take my bags, I'll pack my shit, and I'll go play in a big city where it's not dog shit like fucking Indianapolis. I'll go play in New York City, where they'll put me on the fucking top of the mountain and we'll go win a championship the second I walk in the door. Why? Because I'll be around players that win. I don't have to bring winning culture to them because they already have winning culture inside of their organization with players like Breanna Stewart, Sabrina Ionescu, Jonquel Jones, who have all won, who understand what it takes to win. Whereas I had to come in here with a bunch of babies who suck and I have to create a winning mentality. Stop it, man. Dan Dakich, I used to have some respect for this guy. His long ass diatribe here, bro, ridiculous. Absolutely. He's incorrect on almost everything he said, which makes it worse. Statistically, data, incorrect. Step your fucking game up, bro. You don't know what you're talking about. But that's all I got. Y'all let me know what y'all thoughts are in the comments. But seriously, there are some people that really hate Caitlin Clark in this franchise. And it's Dan Dakich just told that part. He just told you they hate her. So it's not anything that we're sitting here saying that is so off the cuff. They don't like her. They don't. They don't. But y'all let me know y'all thoughts and comments. I know this is a long video, but I want to get this whole thing in, man. Y'all have a great day, man. This is Indiana Fever Unfiltered, powered by Come On Now, the podcast. Come on now.